Flanked by the North Atlantic Ocean and sheltered by dramatic cliffs on the coast of Ireland, lies a natural phenomenon that has inspired artists, stirred scientific debate, and has captured imaginations around the world. Welcome to the Giant's Causeway. Tonight we will look into the ancient rock formations, the history of the causeway, and learn about what or who formed this magnificent land.
I'm here today at the Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. This beautiful place is a World Heritage Site and ranks alongside the likes of Mount Everest and the giant redwoods of California for its importance to mankind. It is perhaps the jewel in this coast crown and is known worldwide for its peculiar geometry. Spanning over 30 kilometres, the Causeway Coast, managed by the National Trust, is formed of white chalk and basalt cliffs, establishing one of Europe's most magnificent coastlines. Formed around 61 million years ago, there are as many as 41,000 basalt columns that can be found lying throughout the coast. These unique and strange stones can be seen across the world, but none is more so famous than in the heart of the Causeway Coast, the Giant's Causeway. But what exactly caused these shapes in the first place?
It was around 64 million years ago when Ireland had actually moved up just shy of where it is today, and we started to have a lot of volcanic activity. And the reason for that volcanic activity was the Earth's tectonic plates. The Eurasian plates started to pull apart. As the Earth pulls apart, the tectonic plates forms cracks or fissures, and it's out of these fissures that the magma starts to ooze up out of it. Now, the thing is, it just didn't happen once here. It has happened at least 7 times along our north coast here. And again, this has happened over actually millions of years. So each time as the magma and lava comes out, it cools and it hardens. And as it hardens, it starts to create and form different types of rock. And primarily the main rock along the north coast here is basalt, and that's what the Giant's Causeway columns are, basalt rock. Now, people will ask the question, why does it give the hexagonal patterns and shapes? And it's actually nature working in its finest way. And this is actually a cooling process. So as anything cools, so you have to remember that your magma, your molten rock, starts to cool and harden. And once it becomes so hard, it cracks. Now, a perfect crack in nature is an angle of around 120 degrees, or if you can imagine a circle, a three-way split. And as these splits, they start to eventually stretch out, they link together. And as they link together, this is how we get our perfect six-sided shape forming. It's 4 perfect 120 degrees angles linking together.
Normally, with this kind of ferocious erosion, cliffs would inevitably crumble to pieces. But even in the face of the Atlantic storms, the coast has been carved out to create these impressive shapes. In 1692, news broke to the wider world of a stunning natural phenomenon. Discovered by the Bishop of Londonderry, William King, he took the awareness of its existence back to the scholars and gentry of Dublin and London. 2 years later, at Trinity College in Dublin, Sir Richard Buckley presented a paper to the Royal Society outlining this amazing discovery. From the 1700s, it then became widely known as the 8th natural wonder of the world. Every year, thousands of visitors flock from all corners of the globe to the Irish coast to see these formations, with over 900,000 visitors in 2016. Now, I spoke to some tourists to find out what brought them here to this craggy coast.
I'm from Norwich, Connecticut.
Portugal, Lisbon. I'm from China.
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
From just outside Glasgow, Scotland.
Malaysia.
Bushmills.
I live in Augusta, Georgia. I'm here with a group of students and they study biology and geology. That's why they were so interested about visiting this area of Northern Ireland.
This is one of the best sites to come see while you're in Ireland.
The north coast of Northern Ireland is just a beautiful part of the country.
My friends have been here, so I have been here. We really like the natural outdoors, the parks and everything. And if I can turn around, I'll show you my patches. So I also got a patch here from the Causeway.
Brilliant.
And I'll have to add it to my collection. It's so beautiful. It's unbelievable. I have no words. It's also the first time for me. Oh, it's very amazing. Who does this? We don't know.
The landscape here is really different from what we have seen so far at other places.
Everything is so grand, you know, it just makes you really appreciate God and the creation that He gave us.
Oh, it's a beautiful walk and beautiful day.
It's glorious to have the sunshine.
Yeah, our best day yet.
It's fantastic. It's unbelievable. Just, looking up at the cliffs and the rock formations, and, it's amazing what nature can do. It really is.
The Giant's Causeway may be a geological triumph and rake in the tourists, but according to locals here in Bushmills, it was formed in a more mythical manner.
Once, long ago, there lived a mighty giant named Finn McCool. Finn was renowned for his amazing feats of strength and is said to have once scooped up a colossal chunk of earth and thrown it at a rival. When the chunk fell into the sea, it became the Isle of Man. The remaining hole formed the largest loch in Ireland, Loch Ness. One day, while attending to his duties, he heard a voice from across the ocean. It was Benandonna screaming insults at him. Benandonna told Finn that he was no good at fighting, which angered the proud giant. In retaliation, Finn worked day and night, tearing large pieces from the nearby cliffs and rammed them into the seabed. He created a causeway stretching over the sea towards Scotland in order to fight Benandonna. When Finn finished, he crossed the causeway to Scotland and discovered that Benandonna was much larger and much stronger than he was. Finn hastily retreated back to Ireland, afraid to fight. However, Benandonna would not give up and decided to pursue. Finn heard the stamping feet chasing behind him. Each step got louder and louder as he approached. The noise was deafening. Finn quickly stuffed moss into each ear to muffle the booming footsteps. He reached home and greeted his wife, Una. He told her how stupid he had been and that a fearsome giant was fast approaching on his way to fight. Una was a clever woman and conjured up a plan. She removed the cloth from the table and wrapped Finn up, then placed him in the bed. Booming knocks came from the front door. Una opened the door to an angry Benandonna. "Where is Finn? I am here if he wants to fight," he screamed. Una claimed he was out hunting and invited Benandonna in. She asked him to place down his spear next to Finn's, which was in fact a large fir tree with a stone pointed on top. Una offered to cook Finn's favourite meal for Benandonna. She baked him a cake of griddle bread, encasing the griddle iron inside. Benandonna hungrily bit into the bread, breaking his back teeth. "I have to feed the baby," Una said. "Would you like to see him?" Benandonna and Una approached the bed, with Finn wrapped up inside. Benandonna became frightened. If this was the size of the child, he thought, imagine the size of the father. Benandonna fled the scene, leaving Finn and Una behind. As he ran, the causeway broke underneath his feet, breaking the bridge. However, at both ends, in Ireland and Scotland, you can still see the remains of the bridge today.
Finn McCool is a giant from Irish mythology. Back in the days, whenever stories used to get passed around by word of mouth rather than being written down and passed around, it's quite possible that all these stories kind of get attributed to the same person, and they probably weren't. And that's how his legend grew, and he became this hero. And as the more heroic deeds that were attributed to him, he probably grew in physical stature as the stories got passed around too, in a kind of Chinese whispers kind of way. It's probably the only explanation they could come up with at the time before they had science to explain it. I mean, you couldn't explain in the Middle Ages about continental drift and how Northern Ireland and Scotland were once joined, and that's why there's a bit of the causeway still left in Scotland. A few thousand years earlier, they would have probably blamed it on the gods or something. In the 1950s, they would have blamed it on aliens probably, but back in those days, giants was the thing to blame it on. It's quite a progressive legend in the way that we would call, he goes back to his wife, and in storytelling we would call that the mentor character, and it's very odd in storytelling for that mentor to be a female character. Even in Hollywood today, you don't see it very often. So it's quite progressive in that sense. It's weird that back in such a macho time of bloodshed and fighting and swords and all that, the moral of the story is that Finn McCool defeats him with his brain rather than his brawn. He tricks him so he doesn't have to fight. It's got a great Irish sense of humour about it as well. I mean, the thought of dressing a giant up as a baby and put him in a crib. I mean, it's the sort of thing you would still see in Father Ted today. It's that Irish sense of humour, which is just, I guess it was there centuries ago too.
The legend of Finn McCool is one known across the country, and you can still see elements of his stories in the rocks today. Walking through the Causeway, you're able to see what people claim are the remnants of Finn's past, such as his camel Humphrey, his organ, which Finn built for his son Oshie, the chimney stacks of his cottage, and his size 93.5 boot he left while fleeing from Benandonna. Even the erosion on top of the rocks forming pools of water are known as giant's eyes. Many tourists are so inspired that they leave coins in the rocks, believing it to grant wishes, or even, like this one particular person, teeth. Whether you want to see the tale of Finn McCool for yourself, or witness one of nature's greatest accomplishments, the Giant's Causeway is a truly remarkable place to visit.